international journals. And Sir has guided 30 PhD students and 15 MPhil students through his career. And presently, around 5 research scholars are pursuing their PhD under SAR guidance. And SAR is also having memberships in various professional bodies like IPA, APTA, Life in the Institution of Chemists, and Fellow of Association of Biotechnology and Pharmacy. SAR has conferred with various prestigious honors and awards. A few of them are last year Vidya Saraswati Puraskar in the year 2011, Lifetime Achievement Gold Award in the year 2011, and Best Principal Award in the Education Expo at 2013 in Kolkata, and also received Award of Excellence in Research in the year 2014, 15, and 17. So, with his brief introduction, I heartfully and warmly welcome Devalra sir. Now I hand over the session to the Devalra sir to deliver his talk in this occasion. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Seshidhar and others, very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much, Dr. Seshidhar, for your kind words. And
thank you, sir.
Me. And first of all, I am very happy to participate in this AICTE ISTE sponsored refresher program on training on pilot plant scale-up techniques. So first of all, I would like to thank Devara, Principal, Cheburarme Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Guntur, for selecting me as one of the speakers for this noble cause, definitely I can say. And similarly, I want to thank the management of Nagarjuna Education Society. Why I am specifically thanking is it is my parent, what is known as the society, because from that society only, from the JKC College, degree junior college, I did my intermediate 40 years back, 1980 and 82. So I got a lot of affection and what is known as the love towards the society. And in the Chebulaname also, most of my favorite students, they are all my students only, they are all my favorite students. So they are working as faculty. For that, I'm very happy because they are all in a wonderful position. They are doing what is known as the wonders. So definitely, I can say I am very happy for participating in this refresher program. Seshi, screen share the sir.
Yes, sir. Start it, sir.
Is it visible, Andy?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Seshi, can you see that?
Yes, sir. Can you see, sir? Visible, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So, a very good afternoon to all of you. All the, I think here I can see 28 participants listed here, and maybe others maybe through YouTube also. I don't know exactly.
Yes, sir.
A very warm good afternoon to all of you. So, first of all, I think all of you know it is a training program. Actually, it is a training program. Simply, we can say it is a refresher faculty development program. Like that, we have several names. But whatever may be the name of here, what is important is usually this program is meant for what is called freshers. Actually, freshers means those who are having what is those who are in the beginning of their career, teaching career especially. Definitely, some of the seniors also they may participate definitely in this program. But definitely, it is a very good program. After that, coming to this what is called the training program, usually very useful programs. Why I'm telling very specifically is teaching profession. It is not like other professions. First of all, what they would understand is teachers. We are all teachers by virtue of our qualification. Because a teacher means a person who is having what is called BEd qualification. Usually they are called as teachers only, like our school teachers or headmasters or other teachers in the school days. But now, because of this, what is known as the globalization of education throughout the country and throughout the globe, also persons who are having what is called qualification, like MTech, PhD, MPharm, PhD, or some other what is called the qualification. So we are all entering into this what is called the noble profession, that is a teaching profession. It is a noble profession. Here, what is important is if you are satisfied with the degree what you are having, like MPharm or PhD, and if you don't want to learn anything, and if you want to stop there only, what will happen is definitely we are not doing what is called justice to our profession. It is not doing justice to our what is called the profession. Therefore, a teacher means, in my opinion, it is not my opinion. Most of the teachers who are attending this program, definitely you have to agree, and you will agree definitely. I know we are all daily students. We should be daily students. At least we should learn something. I am telling you very clearly is when I studied my B Pharmacy at Raichur. Not Raichur, I worked there actually at Andhra University in the introduction. Dr. Seshidhar he has given the introduction regarding myself, and there he told I did my B.Pharm and M.Pharm from Andhra University. When I studied at Andhra University, the thing is we are having only classes. That's all. In our entire 4 years, that is known as the B.Pharm career or M.Pharm career, we never have any seminars, programs. We never saw actually, because in those days only classwork. That's all. Classwork also only the maximum that is known as the advanced teaching in our days is OHP, that is called overhead projector. That's all. OHP screen. That's all. So that our late professor KPR Chaudhary Garu is my teacher at the B.Pharm, M.Pharm, PhD, and he is the founder principal at Siddhartha also. He used to take classes on some important topics using OHP. That's all. The remaining all, it is, I think all of you know, it is called blackboard teaching only. So with that, what is called the teaching only, we learned something, and knowingly or unknowingly, why I am telling very clearly is my habit is usually I will speak boldly. That's all. Whatever it is there, I will tell boldly without hiding anything. That's all. But I don't know how the people will receive, whether they will scold me or not. That is a different story. But I will tell very boldly. So there, what happened is actually unknowingly, definitely not knowingly, unknowingly, I entered into this profession almost 32 years back in the year 1989. That too on the advice of my M.Pharm guide, late Professor Narayan Reddy Garu. So after the completion of M.Pharm, I asked, sir, what I can do, because we are from a very rural area. We don't know much about what is called prospects or career after the degree and PC. Therefore, he told Professor Narayan Reddy Garu, he told that my classmate is there in Raichur. He is the principal of a pharmacy college. Why don't you go and join there? So without asking any extra question, I went there. I joined as a lecturer there in year 1982-89 after the completion of my PhD in pharmaceutical analysis from Andhra University. And initially, what I thought is I want to work there for a few years only. I want to come back to Andhra University for PhD. But once what happened is once after joining there, I liked the profession. After so doing the service for 2 years, 89 and 90, I liked the profession. Then I decided to continue there only, and there I worked for 5 years. After that, I came to Vijayawada, and I settled here for the last 27 years. It is a different story actually. But in those days, what is important is the seminars or refresher programs, they are very less. But anyhow, with our own interest only, with our own what is called the hard work only, we reached to some extent. I can't say we reached the top Everest, I can't say in this profession, but definitely we did something for the last 32 years for the student community, maybe B.Pharm students or M.Pharm students or PhD students also. We did something and they settled well, and we are very happy that just if I look back, the only asset what I am having is a very large group, gathering or group of what is known as the students who pass out under my what is called the teaching, I can say, from Siddhartha or VLCP. Everywhere my students are there, and I am very happy that they are all doing what is called wonderful things. That is one important what is known as the aspect we are having. And now coming to this what is known as the today's talk actually. In the morning, just at around 11:30, I joined in this session. I heard Professor Rajiv Kumar's speech also. I think all of you know it is a what is known as the topic is same, that is called pilot plant scale-up techniques. So just 20 days back or 25 days back, Dr. Vijayadhara, he is my first student actually for the last 30 years, I can say, more than 30 years actually. Very close friend of mine also. And he telephoned and asked me, sir, we are conducting a refresher program. You have to give a lecture, or you have to deliver a lecture on so and so topic. So initially, my feeling is I hesitated for a few minutes because my subject is analysis actually. For the last 32 years, wherever you go, people who know my name, they tell that sir is the analysis sir only. But in addition to what is known as analysis, what we did for the last 30 years is we learned what is called something. I can't say we are experts in that particular field, but we learned something in that what is known as the other areas also. For the last 30 years, I teach, I taught everything, almost each and every subject. Because of various reasons, you know, in a private college, various reasons, I handled almost all the subjects, and I got some grip also. And that is all about what is called some brief introduction. Now coming to this, what is known as the today's my job is that is known as my topic is pilot plant scale-up techniques. As a part of this AICTE ISTE sponsored, this is known as the refresher program on a training on pilot plant scale-up techniques. I am going to deliver what is known as some small information only. Don't think it is called very lengthy or exhaustive information. Whatever I have collected, whatever I got some grip, definitely I can say, I am going to present here. And I hope definitely the participants who are on this webinar, definitely they will receive in a positive way. So that is about what is called a brief introduction. And one more thing is, just by telling one more thing, I will go into what is known as the presentation. In the beginning, Seshidhar, once again I should thank him. He has given what is called brief introduction. He told what is called biodata. Biodata means, see, the biodata what I am having today, I never feel proud about my biodata, because whatever biodata I am having, it is not my own property. It is not my own property, because in the publications what I did, around 400 publications, only around 100 to 150 they are mine from MPharm or PhD while working at Siddhartha. After that, from 2002 onwards, literally most of my MPharm students are PhD students. Luckily, I am very lucky. I have guided around more than 35 students for PhD from different areas. They did a lot of good work in various fields of pharmacy, and they produced what is called so many papers also. Because of them only, students like Seshidhar or Vijayadhar or some Ramu, Show Prasad, all others, because of them only, we got what is called some name, that's all. Because if you take anybody, he don't get any name by himself. He has to do something, and for that what is called doing the things, he needs what is called cooperation from good people. That is very important. So in that, what is known as I can say Mahayagna, I can say several people like Dr. Seshidhar or Dr. Vijayadhar or some other people have given what is called their what is known as share, I can say. And because of that only, we are able to do this what is called the job happily. That is very important. I never feel teaching is a burden. Teaching is a what is called generally some teachers, I don't want to reveal the names, they will tell that, sir, what is there, sir, very boring subject. Every time we are telling AICTE iteration or complexity or some other spectrophotometry only. But whatever it may be, subject may be same, topic may be same, but the students whom we are teaching, they are different. They are different. Definitely, you have to tell year after year. Here, what happened is year after year, we have improved, and now we reached one stage where without reading a book also, we can go to the class and we can speak for what is known as hours together. That is the capacity what we got. So with this a few remarks, now we'll go into what is known as the presentation. So now my presentation is, I told you, it's not that much very exhaustive. Briefly, we can divide into some definition regarding what is called this pilot plant scale-up techniques, objectives, steps in the scale-up, general considerations, GMP considerations, advantages and disadvantages. After that, now, here, before going into the details, I think now we are having what is called some brief introduction here. One is, it is known as the plant. Next one is called pilot plant and the scale up. If you know these three terms, you can understand the remaining thing very easily. That is very important actually. So coming to this, what is known as the plant means, I think all of you know, all the students will join the BPharm. They are all from biology stream only. So biology stream means botany, zoology, physics and chemistry. Here we are having what is called botany subject. But in botany point of view, plant is different. That is different actually. We are having what is called so many plants. But here in the pharmaceutical industry, here we are having what is called a different thing, that is plant. So here plant means it is a place where 5 M's are brought together for the manufacturing of products. Plant means it is a place. It is a place means what you have to understand is it is one place, that's all. It is open kind of what is known as the industry, we can say. Simply it is called industry only. It is a place where what will happen is 5 M's, they are called 5 M's. 5 M's were brought together. They were brought together for what purpose? For the manufacturing of products. Products means maybe a drug, maybe a chemical, maybe a organic compound, maybe an intermediate or whatever it may be. We are going to prepare what is called some product in a place. We are going to prepare what is called a product in a place. That place is called plant. Now coming to this, what is known as in that place, what are the things we are bringing together means totally they are called 5 M's are there. One is known as it is called money. One is known as money. That is the first M is called money. The second one M is called material. Material means the raw materials what they are going to use. And next one is called man. Man means don't think that women are not there. Man or women, maybe combinedly it is called workforce only. After that, the next term, the fourth term is known as method, and the last one is known as machine. So like this, totally we are having what is called 5 M's. All these 5 M's are brought together for what purpose means in one place to produce or to manufacture what is called maybe a drug or maybe a chemical or maybe a what is known as some other what is called the product. So here, if you see these 5 M's, one is money. I think all of you know, whenever you want to start any industry, investment is very important. Money is very essential. Maybe a few crores, maybe some 50 to 100 crores to maybe 1,000 crores, depending upon what is known as the capacity of what is known as the industry. Material means what are the raw materials? What are the raw materials we are having? After that, coming to what is known as the next term is called the workforce. After that, it is method, the process what we are having. After that, we are having what is called machine. Machine means the machinery, the what is known as the whether it is tablet machine or what is called some other machine. What are the things we require? That is called the machinery for that what is known as the industry. So that is about what is called a brief introduction regarding what is known as the plant. After that, now coming to what is known as next definition is, we are having a small definition that is called pilot plant. This is the what is known as the very common word. Usually, we will hear in what is called pharma industry or any what is known as the industry, that is called pilot plant. So pilot plant means what you have to understand is it is nothing but it is a part of the pharmaceutical industry. That's all. It is a part of what is known as the pharmaceutical industry, where what will happen is a lab scale formula. The formula developed in the laboratory or the formula developed in the what is called the R&D lab, usually we'll call it as what is called the R&D lab, is transformed into a viable product by the development of a liable and practical procedure of manufacture. It's very simple. Pilot plant means what you have to understand is it is nothing but what is called it is a part of pharmaceutical industry only, where what is happening is usually scientists, I think all of you know, in all pharma industries, they will do a lot of research work in R&D, and they will develop some formula, maybe a tablet or maybe a vaccine. Or now, if we take the present situation, for the last 1 year, we are all in the pandemic, that is COVID-19. Scientists already they have developed what is called the COVID-19 vaccine. So maybe some new formula, they will develop what is called the new formula in the lab scale, on the small scale in the lab only, that's all. But now, in this pilot plant, what will happen is the formula developed in the lab scale is converted into a viable product by development of liable and practical procedure of manufacture. That is known as the pilot plant. And just now we saw the definition of plant. Next one is a pilot plant. After that, now let us say what is a scale up. Scale up means it is nothing but what is known as the scale up is increasing something. That's all. Scale up means say for example in the R&D formula, R&D level, we'll prepare say for example 100 tablets or 200 tablets or 500 tablets. But if you prepare only 500 tablets, and if you want to go for commercial, what is known as the AICTE means, it is not possible, because we need what is called lakhs together. We need what is called lakhs of tablets, lakhs of capsules, or lakhs of what is called the doses of vaccine. Therefore, how we can scale up, how we can increase this what is known as the what is called this process means through a process that is called as the pilot plant scale up technique only. So here scale up means the art for designing of prototype using the data obtained from the pilot plant model. So that means here, if you see the relation here, we are having what is called R&D. R&D people, they will develop what is known as some formula, some formulation, new formula. And then in the pilot plant, we'll do what is called the required things. And we will go for what is called doing all the necessary things. And finally, from the data obtained from what is known as the pilot plant scale up studies, usually we can go for what is called the commercial production on a large scale. So that is about what is known as some brief introduction regarding the plant, pilot plant, and then what is known as the scale up. With this brief what is known as the introduction, now we'll go into what is known as the next thing. Now let us see what are the objectives of this pilot plant. Here we are having what is called one popular saying, that is find mistakes on small scale and make profit on large scale. This is very important. That means generally whenever you want to produce what is called some product on a large scale, blindly if you invest means what will happen is we'll be in soup, that's all. We don't get anything. We don't get anything. We'll be totally bankrupt, and we don't get what is called even a single NP also return. And definitely we have to lose all the entire property what we earned in our life. Therefore, always what is important is, if you want to do any business, always what is important is, first of all, this what is called the R&D is very important, not only in pharmacy, everywhere. You take any industry, you take computer science, or if you take what is called electronics, or any field, if you take directly, you should not go for what is called the large scale. Always what is important is small scale, like pilot scale, you have to go for what is called the research, and then you have to do the experiments there, and you have to found what is known as what are the various the merits or demerits. With that, you have to calculate and you have to go for what is known as the large one. So therefore, the important thing is find mistakes on small scale and make profit on large scale. This is very important. If you don't follow this small principle, This is a small principle only. If you don't follow this, what will happen is whatever you are doing, it is waste only. Why I'm telling very clearly is I will tell you a small example. Just it is a small example only. It's not example actually. It is an example of what is called a real, what is known as the entrepreneur story actually. One of my student and he is my friend and my colleague also. Almost 30 years back or 25 years back, what they have done is they have started what is known as one mineral water plant. I think all of you know. In my olden days, we don't know what is called the word called mineral water or some other water. Only water, that's all, from borewell or well, that's all. In a village, it is called well only. And whenever we used to go to fields, there we are having what is called small ponds. That water is not clear, it is muddy only. But we used to take what is called the muddy water only. Because of that, what is known as the habits, what we are having during this pandemic of COVID-19, all the Indians, most of the Indians, they belongs to what is called this, what is known as this type of habits only. They survived when compared to what is called the other countries. Therefore, my friend, what he did is he has started with his father. He is a chemistry professor. He earned a lot by during his career. And one fine morning, he asked his father, why don't we start this what is known as the mineral water plant? So without what is known as a lot of survey or market survey or some other what is called the preliminary things required, they constructed what is called a factory, and they procured the what is called RO plant or some other equipment that is required on a large scale, not a small scale or R&D scale. And immediately one fine morning, they have inaugurated what is known as the water plant. So they have produced what is called beautiful water. They got what is called excellent package like a half liter pack, 200 ml bottle, 500 ml bottle, 1 liter bottle, sachets, 5 liter, like that. Different capacities they have produced. After 1 month, what happened is they are in a deep dilemma. That means they have produced the water, but the problem is already in the market there are so many brands of mineral water. They don't know how to market. They have not done any market survey. They have not approached any what is called wholesale distributors or retail distributors. They started the business. They have produced the water. Who will take your water? That is a problem actually. So therefore, 3-4 months they struggled a lot. Then they have started this what is called the market survey or what is known as the bargaining, all these things. But it has given no result. Finally, after 6 months to 8 months, what they did is they are in heavy loss. They are in heavy loss, and they closed the factory. They were sold to some other people, and again, my friend, he continued what is known as the same profession, that is teaching professionally. Why I'm telling this is I observed with my own eyes. He has done what is known as a blunder mistake. Definitely, I can say, and that's why this saying is very important. Find mistakes on small scale and make profit on large scale. Whenever if you want to do a business on a large scale, always you expect profits. Without profits, we cannot survive. Therefore, this is very important. Now, with this brief, what is known as information, now let us say what are the objectives of the pilot plant. The objectives are to produce physically and chemically stable therapeutic dosage forms. To produce physically and chemically stable, I think all of you know the dosage forms what we are producing, maybe tablets or capsules or some other formulations, whatever it may be. What is important is they should be physically and chemically stable. If they are not stable, I think all of you know it is not possible to use. If they decompose, it is not possible to use. Next one is review of the processing equipment. Review of what is called to make the review on what is called the processing equipment. Next one is guidelines for production and process control. Next one is evaluation and validation for process and equipment. Next one is to identify the critical features of the process. This is very important. Whenever if we take any process in a drug, what is known as industry, or whenever if we take what is called manufacturing of any drug or any chemical, what is important is there may be several steps, maybe 5 steps or 6 steps or what is called the 10 steps. So in that what is known as the steps, what we are having for the manufacturing of that what is called the particular product, some steps may be very critical. So therefore, in order to know which step is very critical, and then generally how to control that what is called the critical step, we need what is called some information that is obtained from what is called the pilot plant studies only. Therefore, to identify the critical features of the process, to provide a master manufacturing formula. This is very important. By means of this what is called the pilot plant scale-up studies, generally we can prepare what is called, we can go for large-scale production. For that, we need what is called master manufacturing formula. Means in the R&D level or in the pilot scale level, we'll do what is called a small level only, that's all. But when you want to go for what is called the higher level, what is important is we need a master formula. Say, for example, in the pilot level, maybe 1,000 or 10,000 tablets. But if you go for the higher level, maybe 1 lakh or 10 lakhs tablets. So therefore, there is a lot of variation. Whenever there is variation, means automatically there may be so many parameters, they will change. Therefore, we cannot take it as granted. Therefore, always what we need is we need what is called a master manufacturing formula. What are the various ingredients we are having? What is the quantity of each and every ingredient we require for 1 lakh tablet? Everything we have to prepare in a pakka manner. That is known as preparation of what is called the master manufacturing formula. That can be from what is called the pilot plant only. After that, to try the process on a model of proposed plant before committing large sum of money on the production unit. This is very important. This is nothing but the example what I told earlier. So generally, on a large scale, if you want to go for a construction of a plant, pharmaceutical plant industry, what is important is you have to invest a large sum of money, a few crores, we can say maybe 50 crores or 100 crores or more also. Therefore, suppose if you invest that much amount of money and if it is not fruitful, if it is not successful, definitely it is a loss. Therefore, to try the process on a model of a proposed plant before committing large sum of money on the production unit. So therefore, say for example, we want to prepare what we want to set up what is called say some 3 to 4 what is called bulk drug in that our what is known as the production unit. Therefore, on the pilot scale, these 4 or 5 what is known as the drugs you have to prepare, you have to see, and we have to experiment. And only with that what is called the experience only, with that what is called the data only, we can go for what is called the large production. Otherwise, what will happen is a lot of money will be wasted. After that, examination of the formula to determine its ability to withstand batch scale and process modification. Here, this is very important. Process modification. Sometimes what will happen is there will be what is called the process modification. So whenever there is a process modification, you may not have the same what is called the result. You may not have the same kind of what is called the product also. Therefore, this also you have to study very carefully from the pilot plant. And next one is called, this is very important, that is known as to avoid the scale of problems. Generally, I told you very clearly, that means so in the R&D level, we'll do very small work, maybe 100 tablets or so what is known as maybe 200 or 250 tablets. But when you go for what is called 1 lakh or 5 lakh tablets, lot of variation is there, lot of scale of what is called the process is there. Therefore, if we change this what is called the quantity, what will happen is definitely so many problems will be there. Therefore, to avoid all these problems, what is important is they should be experimented first at a medium level, that is known as a pilot plant level only. That is very important. So these are all the various objectives of what is known as the this is called pilot plant scale up technique. That is the pilot plant. After that, now let us say significance of the pilot plant, or it is also known as importance of the pilot plant. Now let us say what is the significance actually. The first one is examination of the formula. I told you master manufacturing formula. We will prepare the master manufacturing formula from the pilot plant studies only. Therefore, to examine that what is part of the formula, always it is very useful. Next one is review of range of relevant processing equipments. To review the range of relevant processing equipment. Say for example, you want to prepare 1 lakh tablets. What is the equipment we need? We want to prepare 5 lakh tablet. We want 10 lakh tablet. What are the various equipment required? To review the range of relevant processing equipment, pilot plant studies are very important. Next one is production rate adjustment also, that is very important. Next one is idea about physical space required. This is very important. Idea about what is called physical space required. Physical space means you want to start a pharmaceutical industry. How much area you need? Whether you need 2 acres or 5 acres or 10 acres, and what kind of structures we need, what kind of what is known as the rooms or areas we need. This is all very important in this what is known as the industry. That is called idea about the physical space required. Next one is appropriate records and reports to support the GMP. I think all of you know, dear colleagues, nowadays whenever you take what is called pharma industry, GMP, good manufacturing practices, CGMP, they are all very important. Without that, I think all of you know there is no business also. Therefore, for that GMP, always we need what is called records and reports. We need what is called records and reports. Whatever we are doing in the pilot plant studies, we'll have what is called reports. From the reports, we can prepare what is called records. All these records and reports kept permanent. They are required for what is called the GMP. What is known as the GMP, what is known as purpose, that's all. After that, identification of critical features to maintain quality. This is very important. Nowadays, I think all of you know, everything is quality conscious. Quality is very important. Without quality, nobody can survive. That is very important. All the products If they are not up to the quality, they are not accepted. Especially drugs means they should be high quality. Therefore, identification of the critical features to maintain the quality. So after that, now let us see what are the uses. Now let us say pilot plant can be used for different purposes. One is evaluating results for laboratory studies. For the evaluation of what is known as the results for laboratory studies, we need what is known as the pilot plant studies. Next one is product and process corrections. We are having two things here. One is product correction, and next one is known as the process correction. For this product correction or process correction, we need what is known as, it is called as pilot plant studies only. After that, for the sensory, chemical, and microbiological evaluation, I think all of you know, whenever you prepare a product, during what is known as the trials, we need all these what is called the evaluations like sensory evaluation, chemical evaluation, microbiological evaluation. For all these evaluations, we cannot start a large industry and we cannot go for what is called taking the sample. From the pilot plant, we can prepare the compounds, we can prepare the drugs, and we can use for them for what's called the sensory, chemical, and microbiological evaluation. After that, next one is for the shelf life and stability studies. I think all of you know, for a pharmacy product or drug, what is important is shelf life and stability are very important. How many years it is stable? Then at what time it is going to expire? Within 1 year or 2 years or 5 years? To study that, we need what is called pilot plant studies only. After that, for designing and construction of a full-size plant or modifying existing plant. This is very important. Suppose if you want to go for what is called a full-size plant, a new plant, you are starting a entirely differently new plant. For designing and construction of a full-size plant, we need what is called pilot plant studies. Similarly, say for example, some people what they will do is instead of going for what is called a new plant and a new area, what they will do is they will take on lease or they will purchase a sick unit, a small pharma unit is there. It is in sick condition, means the previous entrepreneur is unable to run successfully because of obvious reasons. So now you want to dispose. They will take such kind of what is called the existing plants. They will take and that existing plant, they don't want to prepare the same product done by earlier entrepreneur. They want to go for change. So in that case, for the modification of the existing plant also, as per our needs, we can study in a pilot plant and then we can go for what is known as the construction of a large one. So like that, we are having what is called various uses for this, what is known as the pilot plants. After that, steps in the scale-up process. That is, steps in the scale-up means increasing process actually. Here we are having different steps. Define product economics based on projected market size and competitive selling and provide guidance for allowable manufacturing cost. That is the first one. Conduct laboratory studies and scale-up planning at the same time. This is very important actually. Laboratory studies and scale-up planning also you have to do at the same time. Not doing laboratory studies first and later on doing what is called the scale-up planning. You have to do simultaneously. Next one is define the key rate controlling steps in the proposed process. After that, conduct preliminary larger than laboratory studies with equipment to be used in the rate controlling step to aid in the plant design. After that, design and construct a pilot plant including provisions for process and environment controls, cleaning and sanitizing systems, packaging and waste handling systems, and meeting regulatory agency requirements. This is also very important. And finally, evaluate the pilot plant results. That is, results means here the results of the product and the results of the process also, including process economics to make any corrections and a decision on whether or not to proceed with a full-scale plant development. After doing all these different what is known as the steps, finally we are having what is called, we will end up with what is called some result. That is the product result or what is called the process result. Based on the result, now we can decide whether we have to stop there, whether you have to go ahead. Whether you have to stop there means, suppose if the pilot plant studies data, if it is not encouraging, if it is not profitable, if it is not useful, automatically what we will do is, we will check it again. And again also if we are getting the same result, automatically what will happen is, we will stop there, we will wind up the business. Otherwise, if the results are good, if the product results and the process results are very good, they are encouraging, definitely what we can do is, we can go for what is called a full-scale plant development. We can go for the plant construction, that's all. So like this, we are having what is called different steps in the scale-up process. After that, now we are having what is known as a question that is called why to conduct pilot plant studies. Why to conduct the pilot plant studies. One is a pilot plant allows investigation of a product and process on an intermediate scale before large amounts of money are committed to full-scale production. This is very important. I think all of you know. I told you in the beginning also. Directly, if you go for a full-scale production on what is known as a large company, what will happen is large amounts of money you have to commit, you have to invest. Suppose if it is not successful, we end up with the losses. That's all. It is almost what is known as the. Therefore, what is important is a pilot plant allows, if you do the pilot plant studies, what will happen is it allows investigation of a product and process on an intermediate scale before large amounts of money are committed to full scale production. Second one is it is usually not possible to predict the effects of many-fold increase in scale. The second point what I told, suppose if we prepare 100 tablets, very easy. But if you go for what is called 10 lakh tablets, if you don't do what is known as pilot plant studies, if you go for some calculation, rough calculation, if you go for the what is known as the process, automatically what will happen is you end with nothing. You end with the what is called loss only. That's all. Therefore, what is important is always this is very important. Pilot plant studies are very important. And then it is not possible to design a large scale processing plant from a laboratory data alone without any degree of success. Say, I told you, usually in R&D, we develop some, lot of work is going on, we'll develop what is called some formula. But without what is known as, without doing what is called any small scale studies, suppose if you go for what is called large scale production or processing plant, what will happen is definitely success in most of the cases, the result is, the experience is, we don't get any degree of success. That is very important. Therefore, for all these things, definitely, by seeing these points, what we can conclude is definitely we have to conduct what is called pilot plant studies. After that, if you see this pilot plant, how it can be used means a pilot plant can be used for evaluating the results of laboratory studies and making product and process corrections and improvements. One is evaluating the results of laboratory studies and making product and process corrections and improvements. I think all of you know R&D formula, whatever we are having, it is done in what is called the laboratory scale level, laboratory studies only, that is called R&D studies. After that, what we will do is by using this what is known as R&D formula, we will set up a pilot plant and then we will go for what is called doing some studies. From that, we will get what is called product correction or what is known as the process correction, or product improvement or process improvement. This is called two things. One is called product correction and improvement, process correction and improvement. Therefore, this pilot plant can be used for evaluating the results of laboratory studies and making product and process corrections and improvements. Next one is producing small quantities of product for sensory, chemical, microbiological evaluations, limited market testing, or furnishing samples to potential customers or shelf life or storage stability studies. Usually from this pilot plant only, I think all of you know, we are getting what is called small quantities of the product actually. These products can be used for sensory studies or chemical studies or microbiological evaluations actually, or limited marketing. Limited marketing means we cannot release into what is known as the entire globe, but to some what is known as the approved hospitals we can release. That is called limited marketing, testing or furnishing samples to potential customers. Means some what is called the patients in a hospital, some approved hospitals, and then to do what is called shelf-life studies and to perform what is called storage stability studies also, what is called the pilot plant studies. After that, providing data that can be used in making a decision on whether or not to proceed to a full-scale production process. And in the case of a positive decision, designing and construction of a full-scale plant or modifying the existing plant. I think all of you know, R&D, we are going for what is called pilot plant studies. There, from the data what we are obtaining, we'll go for what is called the final decision. Suppose if the what is known as the data obtained from the pilot plant studies is positive, if it is encouraging, usually what we will do is we'll go for the construction of a full-size plant. Similarly, I told you, suppose if you want to go for what, if you want to take a sick industry and if you want to modify the sick unit based on the results of what is called the pilot plant only, we can modify what is known as the existing plant also. That is regarding what is known as pilot plant, how it can be used for, or what are the different uses of what is called the pilot plant. After that, now let us see What are the general considerations or responsibilities? Now, if we take what is known as pilot plant studies, I think all of you know for the last 45 minutes or 50 minutes, we are discussing something about what is called the pilot plant studies. So, pilot plant studies are very important. Definitely, we can say it is a bridge between what is called R&D and then what is known as the large scale unit actually. So, suppose if the pilot plant is not what is known as strong, if the pilot plant studies are not strong, what will happen is, I think all of you know, if you take a bridge on either side, we are having what is called people who are crossing the bridge actually. Suppose your bridge is strong means happily we can pass through the bridge. If the bridge is not strong, what will happen is definitely we will face the success. Here also, pilot plant studies are very important. They are very responsible. What is known as it is responsible what is called the job actually. Pilot plant studies. So now let us see what are the various what is known as the general considerations of this what is known as the pilot plant studies. So one is called reporting responsibility. Reporting responsibility. R&D group with separate staffing. Whenever if we take what is called any pharma industry, I think all of you know, we are having a separate group in most of the major industries actually. They are having what is called R&D group where they are entirely different from the other what is called the people working in the industry. R&D group are entirely different with the different qualifications like maybe M.Com PhD, MSc PhD. The next one is MTech PhD. Like that, the different what is known as the faculties are available in that what is known as the specialized people are available in that what is known as the R&D group. That is very important. And one more thing is the formulator who developed the product can take it to the production and can provide support even after the transition into the production has been completed. Usually, whenever if we take what is called any pharma industry, they are having an R&D group. They will develop a product. After that, they will start the what is known as the pilot plant. After doing what is called pilot plant studies for several years, I can say it is not several months or several days, several years, definitely they will get a good result based on the what is known as the result, and then they will take the necessary approach and they will go for what is called the large scale production. And here, what is important is generally in most of the cases, what will happen is the pharma industry people are what is known as the pharma industry. What they will do is the people who are there from the beginning, that is called since from the what is known as the development of the formula through the pilot studies up to the final product, they are retained. It is better to keep the same people. That is very important. That is a very important responsibility of what is called the pharma company. And very important thing is the formulator who developed the product can take into the production and can provide support even after the transition into the production has been completed. If he is there, that's all. If he is there, suppose if they get what is called any small problems in the middle, definitely he can give what is called suitable guidance or direction. Otherwise, what will happen is it is not possible to continue further. Next one is it is known as personal. It is known as the personal requirement actually. In this pilot plant, scientists with experience in pilot plant operations as well as in actual production area are the most preferable. Usually, in a pilot plant, scientists with experience in pilot plant operations as well as in the actual production area are the most preferable. Generally, I told you in the beginning, R&D team will be there. In that, what is known as R&D and pilot plant studies team, usually what kind of people they will take means they will take what is called scientists with experience in pilot plant operations earlier, somewhere in some other industry, and as well as actual production area are the most preferable. As they have to understand the intent of the formulator as well as to understand the perspective of the production personnel. Means, for example, if you take what is known as the scientists who are working here, what is important is they are the bridge here actually. From one side, they are having what is called, they are having the R&D, other side, they are having what is called that is the production personnel. Now they are in between, and they have to understand R&D concept and then what is called the production personnel concept also, and then they have to provide what is called the suitable guidance. Next one is the group should have some personnel with engineering knowledge as well as scale up also involves engineering principles. Usually, in a what is known as the R&D or pilot plant studies, or if we take the pharma industry, always what is important is we are having what is called a research group actually. The group should have not only purely pharmacy or pharmacy PhD people or MSc or MSc PhD people. They need what is called engineering knowledge also. People with engineering technology, maybe chemical engineering is the most preferred one, or some that is called civil also that is required actually, because The scale-up process means, I think all of you know, scale-up means I told you in the beginning, that is called increasing something, that's all. Increasing the quantity, that's all. So because the scale-up also involves engineering principle. Because scale-up involves engineering principle, in the team of R&D or pilot plant studies, so engineers should be there. Without engineers, if we take only MSc people or pharmacy people, what will happen is, we don't know what is called, it is known as a good result. We may not get what is called the encouraging values also. Therefore, definitely we don't get what is called the good results in the end in the pilot plant studies. After that, coming to what is known as the next consideration is, we have to see what is the space requirement for the what is known as pilot plant. Usually, the space requirement in the pilot plant can be divided into 4 categories. One is known as for administration and information processing purpose. Next one is called physical testing area. Third one is known as standard equipment floor space, and fourth one is known as the storage area. So like this, totally we need what is called 4 types of space requirements. One is called administration and information processing. Next one is called physical testing area. Next one is known as the standard equipment place, means the place where we are keeping all the equipment, that's all. Last one is called the place, it is called storage. Storage means the place where we are keeping what is called the raw material or the finished products. Similarly, physical testing area means whenever if we take what is called any formulation or any dosage form we are doing, usually in the middle, in the beginning, at the end also we have to do what is called a lot of testing actually. Therefore, for the testing of that what is known as the formulations also, we need some equipment. Equipment will be kept in some area that is called physical testing area. And whenever if we take any industry, don't think that only production will be there. There we are having what is called administrative wing and then information processing also. Therefore, for all these different purposes, like administration and information processing, physical testing area, we are under standard equipment floor space, storage area, we need what is known as the space. After that, now just briefly, coming to the administration and information process, adequate office and desk space should be provided for both scientists and technicians. This all of us know. The space should be adjacent to the working area. That is very important. Next is physical testing area. You can see that from the diagram also. There we are having what is called various equipments kept. This area should provide a permanent bench top space for routinely used physical testing equipment. Next one is standard pilot plant equipment floor space. Discrete pilot plant space where the equipment needed for manufacturing all types of dosage form is located. Intermediate sized and full scale production equipment is essential in evaluating effects of scale up or research formulation process. Equipment used should be made portable wherever possible, so that after use it can be stored in small rooms actually. Usually in the pilot plant scale, what is important is most of the equipment what we are using, they are all in most of the cases they are all medium size or maybe small size, and they are all portable actually. Portable means once if the completion of what is known as the studies, what is important is it is better to move them and store in a small what is known as the storeroom. Therefore, for the purpose always we need what is known as portable type of what is known as the equipment. Next one is space for cleaning, and cleaning of the equipment is also provided. Because I think all of you know, it is pilot plant means small scale production only, that's all. Therefore, immediately after the completion of one batch or one product, one process, cleaning is very important. Therefore, that cleaning process, it is it's cleaning area, the space for cleaning also in this what is known as the pilot plant. After, yeah, here you can see this. Whenever if you go to a Best Price or Metro or some other place, there we can see this type of setup actually. It should have 2 areas divided as approved and unapproved area for active ingredient as well as excipients. Active ingredients, so excipients, so and similarly approved and unapproved products, they are kept separately in the what is for the storage area. After that, different areas should provided for the storage of the in-process materials, finished bulk products from the pilot plant, and materials from the experimental scale-up batches made in the production. And the last one is storage area for packing material should also be provided. I think all of you know, we are having what is called, in addition to the excipients or products, always we are having what is called packaging materials also. They also should be stored carefully. And then next one is called review of the formula. A thorough review of the each aspect of formulation is important. The purpose of each ingredient and its contribution to the final product manufacture and small scale laboratory equipment should be understood. Generally, here what is important is, I think all of you know, from the pilot plant studies, we are getting what is called some conclusion. Means we have to proceed like this, the process is like this, the procedure is like this. We are having what is called, what is known as the very important procedure will be there. Here what is important is, the people who are working there, they should understand what is known as this, what is called the each and every step. That is very important. Then the effect of scale up using equipment that may subject to the product to stresses of different types, and the degrees can more readily be predicted or recognized. After that, raw materials. Next one is general considerations. We are having what is known as the raw materials. One purpose and responsibility of the pilot plant is the approval and validation of the active ingredient and excipients raw materials. Usually, by means of this pilot plant studies, we will go for what is called approval and validation of the active ingredients and excipients in the process. Why means raw materials used in the small scale production cannot necessarily be the representative for the large scale production. That is very important. Ingredients may change in particle size, shape, or morphology, which result in differences in bulk density, static charges, rate of solubility, flow properties, color, etc. They are all different. What is known as the possibility for the changes. Actually, we have to take into what is known as all these things into consideration. After that, equipment. The most economical and the simplest and efficient equipment which are capable of producing product within the proposed specifications are used. Very important. What is important is most economical means not costly equipment. With the economical equipment only, and the simplest and efficient equipment which are capable of producing what is called the product within the proposed specifications required. They are used mainly. The size of the equipment should be such that the experimental trials run should be relevant to the production size batches. If the equipment is too small, the process developed will not be scalable. Generally, what is important is you should not go for what is called a laboratory scale equipment. Actually, always it is better to go for what is called above the laboratory scale, because if you use very small equipment, what will happen is it will not scale up in the what is called the large scale manufacturing process. Whereas if the equipment is too big, then the wastage of expensive and active ingredient. Suppose in the pilot plant, if you use very big what is called the equipment, what will happen is for that big equipment you have to use what is called a lot of active ingredients or raw materials which are very expensive. Therefore, it is a loss to the what is known as the entrepreneur. And the next one is called coming to the equipment. The next one is the equipment what we are using should be easily cleanable. That is very important. Ease of cleaning and time of cleaning also. Within short period, they should be cleaned properly. Suppose if we take what is called hours together for the cleaning purpose, generally it is waste of time only. That's all. We don't get what is called the required result. Therefore, ease of cleaning and time of cleaning is important. After that, production rates, the immediate as well as the future market trends or requirements are considered while determining what is known as the production rates. After that, process evaluation. Coming to this, what is known as the pilot plant studies, this process evaluation is very important. Now, coming to what is known as the process evaluation means here we will do what is called process evaluation of different parameters. Like parameters like heating and cooling rates. Say, for example, some reaction is there. What is the heating temperature? What is the heating rate? Similarly, what is the cooling temperature? What is the cooling rate? It is very important. After that, if it is a liquid, what are the filters you have to use? Filter sizes, that is also very important. If it is a solid, the screens what you are using, screen size, whether it is 20 mesh or 40 mesh or 60 mesh or 100 mesh, what mesh you have to use, that is also very important. Next is the drying temperature and drying time. For the solid dosage forms, order of mixing of the components. This is very important. Order of mixing of components. Whenever if we take what is called any formulation, just we cannot mix all the ingredients or we cannot produce a tablet or capsule. It is not possible. Order of mixing of the components is very important. That is also very important that you have to properly evaluate. And the mixing speed also. Not only order of mixing of components, mixing speed also very important. And not only mixing speed, in addition to the order of mixing of the components and mixing speed, mixing time also very important. After that, the rate of addition of granulating agents, solvents, or solutions of drug. This is all required for what is called rapid manufacturing. Actually, these are all the various parameters you have to evaluate very carefully, very critically in this what is known as the pilot plant studies. I hope it is clear. That is process evaluation parameters we have to evaluate. After that, why to carry out the process evaluation? You may get some doubt though. Why you have to go for the process evaluation? The knowledge of the effects of the various process parameters, as a few mentioned above, form the basis for process optimization and validation. The purpose of process validation is to confirm that the selected manufacturing procedure assure the quality of the product at various critical stages in the process and in the finished form. Here, what is important is why you have to do all this process evaluation means. Suppose if you don't perform all these things, what will happen is it may not have what is called the required quality at the end. There is no GMP also. It is not meeting what is called the required quality in the finished form. After that, I told you in the beginning also, from the pilot plant, we'll prepare what is called the master manufacturing formula. This is master manufacturing procedures. The three important aspects here is one is called weight sheet. Next one is called processing directions, manufacturing procedure. In the master manufacturing formula, in that sheet, what we are having is one is called weight sheet. Weight sheet means, say for example, in the manufacturing of some tablet, there are 20 ingredients. What they will do is they will list out all the 20 ingredients in a serial order, in a specific order, and then they will write the quantities of each and every ingredient required in kgs for production of, say for example, 1 lakh tablets. That is very important. Like that, they have to prepare what is called the master manufacturing formula. Next one is called processing directions. For the preparation of the tablet using these ingredients, what is the process we are having? What is the process we are having? Where to start, how to proceed, like granulation, drying, sieving. Like that, we are having what is called different process. We can say that it is known as the processing directions also. We have to write very clearly, very legibly and clearly write what is called the processing directions. After that, you have to go for what is called manufacturing procedure. That is also very important. It is known as the manufacturing procedure. Means how to manufacture that also we are write in the master manufacturing procedure. These are the three important aspects that should be there in the master manufacturing formula. That is weight sheet, processing directions, manufacturing procedure. After that, here the same thing, master manufacturing procedure. The weight sheet should clearly identify the chemicals required in a batch. To prevent confusion, the names and the identifying numbers for the ingredients should be used on the batch records. You write very clearly. You should generally, whenever you want to write what is called name of the chemicals or ingredients or some other materials, what is important is you have to write the complete name with bold letters, without any abbreviations, without any chemical formula. You have to write the names very clearly. The process direction should be precise and explicit. Generally, the process direction, you have to write very clearly, arrows, that procedure, how to proceed, what is known as the procedure, you have to write very clearly. It should be precise and explicit, without any confusion, that's all. After that, the manufacturing procedure should be written by the actual operator only. Means the person who really involved in the entire process, the actual operator, he has to prepare this, what is called the manufacturing procedure. You know the things better, that's all. Add this, mix for 20 minutes, wait for 2 minutes, add the second compound, wait for 30 minutes. Like that, there will be some what is called a real experienced person is there. He has to prepare what is known as manufacturing procedure should be written by the actual operator. Various specifications like addition rates, mixing time, mixing speed, heating and cooling rates, temperature storing of the finished temperature, storing of the finished products should be mentioned in the batch record directions. This is also very important. Generally, how to add addition rates, mixing time, mixing speed, heating, cooling rates, temperature where you have to maintain, storing of the finished products where you have to store, the samples also where you have to store. Everything you have to write in the master manufacturing record. After that, here, one more important thing is transfer of the analytical method to quality assurance. During the scale-up of the new product, the analytical test methods developed in research must be transferred to the quality assurance department. Usually in the industry, we are having what is called QA department, that is called quality assurance department. Whatever analytical methods or testing methods we have developed or we are using during the scale-up process, during the pilot plant studies, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years, after the completion of the studies, they should be transferred to what is called the quality assurance department so that on the large scale manufacture, the persons from the quality assurance department, they can look after what is known as the process next. Here what is important is early in the transfer process, the quality assurance staff should be review the process to make sure that proper analytical instrumentation is available and the personnel are trained to perform the test. Here what is important is suppose if you transfer the method, if you transfer the equipment, what is important is if there are no what is known as the properly trained personnel, no use. Therefore, you have to see that very carefully that properly trained personnel should be there in the department, in the industry, we can say, to handle this what is known as the instrumentation. That is very important. After that, product stability and uniformity. The primary objective of the pilot plant is the physical as well as the chemical stability of the products. To study this physical and chemical stability, usually we are performing what is called pilot plant studies. Hence, each pilot batch representing the final formulation and the manufacturing procedure should be studied for stability. That's all. Each and every batch you have to study, that's all. Stability studies should be carried out in finished packages as well. That is about what is called a brief introduction regarding the general considerations of what is known as the pilot plant studies. Now, let us see GMP considerations. Here, coming to what is known as the GMP, I told you in the beginning. Generally, whenever if we take this, what is called the pharma industry, nowadays it is more quality oriented. If there is no quality, nobody will accept, and it is not. It cannot be marketed globally also. So therefore, GMP considerations are very important. Quality is very important. And coming to the GMP considerations, so here, what are the various GMP considerations means? So one is equipment qualification. That is very important. What is the equipment we have to use? From where you have to purchase? In what way you have to use? How to train the people? That is also very important. That is called the equipment qualification. Next one is called process validation. Whatever process we have developed in the pilot plant studies, it should be validated properly. It should be kept for what is called record purpose in the GMP. Next one is regularly scheduled preventive maintenance. Regularly scheduled preventive maintenance. Maintenance is very important for all the equipment or instruments. So maintenance is very important. Regularly process review and revalidation. Usually equipment generally we are using they should be validated very periodically. That is called revalidation actually. Relevant written standard operating procedures. It is very important. SOPs actually. Usually for all the instruments or for all the equipment, whatever we are using in the laboratory or pharma industry, we need what is known as SOPs. That is called standard operating procedures. It is called relevant written. Written document should be there, signed by the concerned authority, head of the authority actually. Relevant written standard operating procedures. That it is a part of what is called the GMP only. After that, the use of competent, technically qualified personnel. That is very important. I told you in the earlier also. Adequate provision for training of personnel. This is very important. I think all of you know. Usually in the industry, what they will do is after the recruitment of the people, they will have what is called periodical training. That is very important. Without training, they cannot, because say for example, if we take myself, when we studied at Andhra University, we got only colorimeter. That's all. That is the equipment we are having. I have seen in my life first time in BPharm and MPharm. After that, after 10 years, I saw what is called UV, visible spectrophotometer, or fluorimeter, or HPLC, or other equipment also. Therefore, now what I need is definitely I need some training. Otherwise, I cannot handle, because equipment like colorimeter, it is very simple. Anybody can handle. But coming to what is called the HPLC, it is not so simple, because it is not manual. It is all automatic only. Therefore, we need what is called a lot of skill and what is known as the practice also to handle that instrument and to operate that instrument. Therefore, training is required. Training by experts or training by what is called the personnel from the manufacturers. So therefore, adequate provision for training of the personnel, that is also one important GMP consideration. A well-defined technology transfer system. Technology transfer system, that is very important. Say for example, in R&D, we will develop a formulation. It is developed in the what is known, it is studied and scale up in the what is known as the pilot plant. After that, for the transfer of this technology from the pilot plant to what is called the large scale production, a well-defined technology transfer system is there that you have to maintain for the purpose of what is called the GMP. Validated cleaning procedures. Cleaning means, don't think it is very simple. It is called a very what is scientific act only. For that, we need what is called validated cleaning procedures only. After that, an orderly arrangement of the equipment so as to ease material flow, prevent cross contamination. This is very important. Generally, whenever if we take what is called any pharma industry, always there is what is called orderly arrangement of the equipment. Orderly arrangement of equipment. Why it is? Because to ease material flow, if the equipment is not arranged properly, what will happen is the flow of the material is not easy. It is zigzag and confusing also. There is a chance for what is called cross contamination. To prevent that, what is called the cross contamination, and to ease the material flow, always orderly arrangement of the equipment is done in what is known as pilot plant studies. So that is about what is called the GMP considerations. Now let us see what are the advantages of this pilot plant studies. Members of the production and quality control divisions can readily observe scale-up runs. Supplies of excipients, drugs cleared by the quality control division can be drawn from the more spacious areas provided to the production division. Access to engineering department personnel is provided for equipment installation, maintenance, and after that, coming to what is called the disadvantages means the frequency of direct interaction of formulator with the production personnel in the manufacturing or area will be reduced. After that, any problem in manufacturing will be directed towards its own pilot plant. So that is about what is known as the various advantages and disadvantages of what is called the pilot plant studies and the GMP consideration, we can say. So that is all about what is known as what is known as today's talk, I can say. And I hope I told you in the beginning only. So I'm not an expert in what is known as a pilot plant studies or what is called all these techniques, I can say. So whatever I learned or whatever I observed something, I told you to some extent. I hope all the faculty members, mainly young faculty members, so we have attended here. They understood something. They understood something, and whenever they are free and whenever they got any doubts, definitely they are, because I'm not a new man. Almost everybody knows me in this what is called the session who are sitting. They know me very well. So therefore, definitely you can ask at any time, and there is no hesitation also. Don't think that I feel bad if you call me and if you ask me something, because I think all of you know knowledge is generally it will increase if you share from one person to another person. Actually, it is like a candle. From one candle, I think all of you know we can light up so many candles. In the same manner, from a knowledge person, the knowledge can be spread to so many people. So that's what we are doing for the last 32 years actually. Because I told you, even though I got B.Pharm or M.Pharm gold medal or ranks in the university, that is different because we studied well, we got some what is called medals. But that is not the thing actually. What is important is if you study and if you get a medal, if you don't know how to express, if you don't know how to spread the message, it's of no use actually. So therefore, as a teacher, what we are doing for the last 3 decades, I can say proudly, is at least we are preparing what is called some good students like Dr. Sachidhar, Dr. Vijayadhar, Dr. Ramu, Dr. Soprasad, from Chebul Almaya, definitely I can say, and so many others are there. So whenever time comes, I will tell their names also. Definitely, we are spreading what is called a good message. And my intention is, dear young, what is known as the pharmacy fraternity and colleagues, my sincere appeal is today, definitely, today means not today. Now we are at what is called very critical situation because profession is not in what is known as a very good condition because of obvious reasons. I don't want to discuss on this platform. Because of various reasons, now we are having what is called very tough times ahead for a few years actually. So therefore, what is important is we should not lose hope. That is very important. We should not lose hope because last 1 year we are very critical. We don't know whether we will survive or not because of the COVID. Now we are lucky. We are very fortunate. And I told you in the beginning only, that's all. Why means, first of all, we should thank our forefathers and fathers because from there only we got what is called a very, I can say, what is known as very, very useful genes, definitely. Those genes are highly resistant to what is called the COVID virus. Otherwise, see, for example, if we take US, if we take Britain, if we take Brazil, see, last year, if you see the March, April, May, June, if you see the TV and if you see the scrolling, usually we used to get a lot of sweating, that's all. It is like what is called panic situation. We don't know when we will die. Like that, we spend our days, but luckily, we came out of that situation. I think all of you know, we are not Brazil or US or other European countries, but because of the habits of our people, because of the habits what we acquainted from our fathers or forefathers, we survived. Definitely, here also now what my appeal is, you do well. That is very important. And try to enlighten your students. That is very important. Because in the beginning, I told actually, the thing is, if you ask me, sir, how much we earned in this, what is known as profession means, from the profession, what I earned is, I cannot count. It's not countable with the counting machines. It is all what is known as the gems what I am having in this society. That's all. All the students maybe in abroad or in India, they are all gems definitely, and proudly I can say. Therefore, you should also have the same feeling, because our teachers, like I told you in the beginning, Professor KPR Chaudhary garu, late Professor KPR Chaudhary garu, Professor Narayan Reddy garu, they are all really, I can say, they don't have any what is known as a selfishness. Without any what is called the obligation, they used to enlighten the students. They used to guide the students for every thing and for anything also. You also please enlighten the students. Whenever any student approach you with some doubt, maybe not only your subject, from other subject also, don't say it is not my subject and I don't know. If you say like that, what will happen is we lose the what is known as the confidence. We lose the confidence, and usually they don't have respect on us in their minds. What is important is you tell something what is there, or you tell one thing. Just give me some time, just within a half day or 1 day. Definitely, I'll gather the information. I will tell you like that. If you enlighten the students, they will be very happy, and definitely they will become what is called good citizens of what is known as our India. That is very important. With these few remarks, once again, I should thank Dr. Seshidhar especially, and because he is our first batch M1 student from Siddhartha, 2004 to 6, I remember well. And after that, so many batches. Today only some students are joining for M.Com again this year admission. So many students are coming. But how many students they are coming up? That is not the question. What is important is always first batch of any course in any college, they will have what is called a special. I can say it is known as the very special remark. That's all. Special remembrance and remark. So like that. Similarly, he is our first batch M.Com student. So I used to remember him, and I'm having a lot of regards to what is known as Seshidhar. Thank you very much, Seshidhar, and Dr. Vijay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
For giving me this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your informative session, sir. Definitely, we will follow your suggestions and guidance, sir. A few questions are there, sir, from the students, sir, from the participants.
Seshidhar, you know my mail, na?
Sir, okay, sir. So I will suggest him to transfer the questions to mail ID, sir. I will disclose your mail ID in this group, sir.
Transfer to my Dr. GDR 1964 @
Sure, sir.
If they transfer to the mail, I am happy to answer.
Definitely, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you,
okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your informative session, sir. And we will come back with you, sir, again, sir. Once again, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ma. Good day, Ma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.